What's
Hello.
up?
Yeah, just a second. I'll also add a cool filter. You can't have all the fun.
Hey man, I think you kind of froze.
Sorry?
Okay, now you're not froze. You froze for like a second.
Okay, I was uh, searching for a filter. Probably went a little crazy.
And this time I made sure that I don't get jealous of you, man. I made sure I have my coffee in front of me.
I just have a water bottle here.
So it's kind of ironical. I saw your last message to me, and without going into details of why you sent it, I heard that you had pizza last night, which is very strange. Because not strange, but a heck of a coincidence because that's exactly what I had last night. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think I had pizza after 1.5 years.
a Friday night uh, home delivery meal.
Ah, I did it to
Right?
celebrate. I did it while celebrating the IPL final. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, after 1.5 years, man. After lockdown, I've not had pizza. So
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah,
took quite
I
the toll on
probably
my.
a couple of months or once in a month.
Yeah, you have incentive to have pizza, considering what's next to your house.
Yeah, I do have a good pizza place. Can't complain.
I was cursing you, man, when I ordered. I was like, ah, I could only have that. Unfortunately, without getting into where I ordered from, it didn't live up to that expectation. So,
Yeah.
what to do? Okay, let's get started. I think we already got started. This is kind of how our, to anyone watching, this is how our normal mornings begin. If we are talking to each other, this is what happens.
Yeah. It's pure banter and pulling each other's legs most of the time. I'm surprised we get songs here, considering the amount of banter that flows.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it, I think we are like 80% this, and then suddenly an idea would strike, and then it's like all
Yeah, it feels
serious,
like
serious
our banter
potato.
leads to our songs. That's how it is.
True. Okay, cool. So, firstly, I mean, before we get into this, we've had a really good last week. I mean, with
Yeah.
a lot of the feedback we got, right? We're gonna go all night was, oh, sorry, what am I saying? Waiting on my own. I
Into
don't
the
know why
playlist.
that. Yeah, it was, we got some really, I mean, we're really appreciative of all the reactions that came in. Very
Yeah,
thankful.
yeah, the feedback was really good, and we were also really taken aback. We didn't expect this to be
Mm.
like one of the more popular songs that we put out. Good to hear.
Yeah. In fact, this was one of the songs where, I mean, we were happy with our execution, but we were like, how would people perceive this? We were not too
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It
So,
also did not have the same high tempo, high energy vibe as the previous releases, right? So
mm,
more of a slow song with the soul-like feel almost, right?
correct.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So, we are here to talk about the second song from the album, Meant to Be. Uh, so this is one other song that went through X number of what do you call reworks and transformations and all sorts of stuff, right?
yeah.
Um,
Another song. It started from a bass solo, right?
yeah,
Like for a second.
correct. So this was the last. Uh, no, which part of the solo was this from?
This was towards the end of the solo, yeah, of
Uh,
the old good solo that I used to play.
mm,
But
and
it is not exactly the same groove I used to play earlier. I have changed it a bit so that it's a little more musical,
yeah,
easier to sing to, and there's more of a groove. Back then, it was more like uh, a lot of fast notes with technique and all that. But now it's more tuned to what is needed from a groove point of view.
Correct. And also one of the harder songs to play on bass because while you can play that groove once and it's okay, but what do you call playing that on like a repeatability basis is not very easy on this particular one.
Like especially to get the feel and the timing, you can get one or the other.
Correct.
Right. So it was quite a challenge. It still is a challenge to play. It's not an easy song to play by any means.
Correct. And a whole host of techniques. It's not just one thing, right? You've got thump and you've got like pull-offs and a bunch of things happening over there.
Pull-off, hammer-on, a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Like a mixture of open notes and also mutes, all of that.
Correct.
And actually, if you see from the bass point of view, the tougher part for me to maintain accurately would be the verse section, because I need to be spot on. Otherwise, for you, it's going to go all over the place, right?
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun singing on this because what do you call it followed a certain groove that anyone influenced by pop music and anyone who likes pop music would really enjoy singing on top of this. It's got those stops and
that the open close thing. So that itself pick the energy up for the song.
Correct. And the breaks, because it's in the verse when you go right, and there's that break, and with those claps that you want to play that groove slowed down first, and then you want to play it at normal tempo.
Yeah, I can do that. So it goes something like. That's the really slowed down version. So at the normal speed, it will be like.
Yeah.
So that's the proof. It's getting the consistency and maintaining it is quite challenging, because you need to have a left hand and right hand coordination for it. It's interesting for sure. And also when it goes to the words, it changes a bit. So So there's the pre-chorus. So initially, for the pre-chorus section, if you look at it, we wanted to have it with the fingerstyle bass, something like. But one day I was like, why not? Let me just play to the thumb. So that gives the high energy, raw slap feel.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts of the song. Personally, for me, in fact, I used to always, if you remember my facial expression when that part comes, no, I feel like that's the part, because while I love what you're doing,
grooving face.
This the sound of that. The bass strings ring out on that. No, there's nothing that can replicate. There's absolutely nothing that can replicate that kind of sound. It sounds just the ring out of that. And the best part is, and I know we had a disagreement on this while recording, but I really enjoyed the sound of your roll strings when you were recording that section, because it was producing that the sound that an old string would make, that flappy kind of ringing out. And of course,
Yeah,
we went to the new one because otherwise it would have sounded too flat.
that section in old Trek would have been nice. Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, man. I mean, this was one of the fun songs, and we had a lot of a lot of inconvenient experiences also recording this.
Yeah, it was quite challenging, especially from your point of view, right? For writing the guitar part, especially for the main section, you had to come up with something uh, that went with this, but did not do something that was too different because yeah, we're not playing progressive music yet. Everything has to gel together, right? We're
Yeah,
not uh, like going in different directions, and yeah, it's not like a musician friendly approach what you're doing. Want to go for a like a regular listener. So for that, it was a bit challenging, I guess.
you have tempted me to get out my guitar now. I wasn't planning on playing it, but yeah, since you mentioned, and by the way, for everyone watching, I'm fully aware that my guitar work is minuscule compared to the bass work, so that is why I humbly kept it aside.
I'm
But I think okay,
that
fine.
whatever you played in this song, right? It was very well thought out, and the note selection was good. The number of notes you played, and especially the outro section is all you, man. You're like building it in that
Mm.
disco style thing and ending it, right? So I wouldn't exactly say that it's all bass.
Thanks, man. That's very kind of you to say so. But I still, and you know, I've said this often in the past. I still feel that the song was so beautifully built, or at least I felt was very strongly built on that bass group, um, which made it for me. I see myself primarily as a vocalist, right, rather than a guitarist. In at least my role with the band, and in general itself, I'm more of a vocalist than a guitarist. And for it was a vocalist delight to sing. And I've always said that anyone influenced, especially by old school pop music, uh, depends very heavily on a bass guitar, right? The bass really
Yeah,
determines on.
to all the Motown and soul songs from the 60s and 70s, right?
Correct.
Everything from the Midwest USA, the Detroit area, has this kind of heavy groove influence, really driving the vocals. Even the vocals are really strong in those songs.
Correct.
Like that's where like Michael Jackson was started, right? With Jackson 5 playing the Motown style of song.
Correct. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, since we are going to also talk about the minuscule part of the guitar, just to give you an idea of how we came about the guitar work, I think the song started. So when we realized that the section, right, the bass groove started off, that should really be the center stage because it's too predominant a section to just be the outro of a song. I think one of the things that when we took a call on was let's make this the predominant groove. And I think the number of things we went through with that. First, we thought let's go with a rock beat, put some distortion on it, and I think I was going with something like that, where I was just playing like a root and a eighth note or something, and just going like heavy on distortion. And we said, nah, not happening. And then I think for a long time there was no guitar itself on the track. It was just bass and vocals.
Things out, and you are also experimenting with effects. I think, like you're trying to add some of the clean effects.
Correct.
Like
Correct.
especially delay and reverb to add more of an ambient feel to what you play.
Correct. And so the good thing you said that. I was just gonna get to that. One of my go-to bits of music is ambient pop. I love ambient pop, ambient club. It's one of my favorite genres of music, and I love those sections of songs where there is nothing predominant about it, but it's just music, and it's one instrument leading to the next instrument, and everyone's quite neutral, but there are just tunes leading into other tunes, and I love that kind of music, and that really took that helped me with this song because stuff like the verse is like. Is it audible by the way? The guitar?
I can hear you. I can definitely hear.
That's all I'm playing. Right? And
Yeah. But the nice thing is, with all the effects adding to that, you don't need to do too much. You just need to play the right amount of notes. Sorry, the right number of notes, and also like set the effect in the right way so that your delay repeats and your reverb lengths are all making sense with the tempo of the song.
correct. And I think for me, the challenge was, what do we do with the chorus? Because we didn't want to play just chords. We didn't want to just play the normal rhythm thing, right? We wanted to make something that accompanies the instruments, accompanies the vocals, but at the same time doesn't take center stage.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we came up with. And
Yeah.
I think that was it was one of the easier things to.
Even I made some sections, like a different kind of section in the chorus. Initially, I thought I'll just slap it out, like how I'm doing for the rest of the song. So this is what I came up with earlier. But then we, like already the song has a lot of slap. Let us make the section nice and smooth. That's where I came up with.
Hey, Govind, I think you might want to increase the volume a bit for the fingerstyle playing.
Oh, right. I realized that.
Like, I can hear you, but it's a little faint on my side.
The mobile mic, right? You can't do much.
Yeah.
So this section actually has only 3 chords: G, A, G, B, A. Yeah, but I wanted to make it like like it flows through the chords with notes to fill it up, rather than just play the root notes.
Correct.
Add a bit of a melodic element to it.
Correct. And that's what made it so fun to sing over, because so when you go back a little bit right to the verse, because you retained the slap and we brought in that those claps that ra, ra, da, 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 ra. So it was like ra, da, da, da. So there's a single clap there, right? And
all those claps, right? It almost reminds me a bit of the Addams Family tune. Da, 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 da. Like that, right?
Yeah, come to think of it. Oh man, I didn't even think of it. And ironically, I keep singing that half the time. I don't know why. It just subconsciously is in my head. Yeah, I don't know why it's in my head. And sometimes I have to control myself in meetings.
Can't help it.
I know, it's a legendary tune. But it was so fun to play on that, because when you look at the note that you're playing, it helps me with the way I'm singing the song. Because if it was just normal, right, I would go, the reason you're forbidden. But because of the way it's sung, right, the way the tune works, right, I'm able to push through vocals. I go, the reason we're forbidden.
So the way that section goes is, in the main groove, I added the chords A, C, D, and G, which is the chords for the verse. So the main goes like. Right? So what I did was I added A to the first part. So it goes to C there.
You can back to
Yeah, so that's the way I wrote that section, because I wanted it to have also the right notes to give you the low end backing which you needed
Correct.
to
Yeah.
show the chord progression. If I was just playing the same groove, it will not show the chord progression.
Correct. Got it. And the outro of the song was probably one of the most fun parts to record. And I called it out because it was easy to record it, and two, because we really enjoyed what we were playing. So we had that time to pull back and just enjoy music for music. It didn't matter who made it, why we made it, what it meant, but we just enjoyed music for music.
Yeah, it was actually a very simple section for us, like instrumentally at least.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm really glad with the way that section sounds. It's real good, like feel good music to end the song in a nice way.
Correct. That was a lot of fun. That song, I think at the end of it, we were just taking a step back and we were like, okay, this is because the second track we made, right? Does not follow verse, chorus, solo, does not follow the normal way of a song going. We made an outro, no final chorus. Made it the way that we felt we should start writing music, because we've often felt we overcomplicate things.
Yeah, the instrumental outro definitely worked, and especially I liked what Dan, or guy who produced the song, the guy whom we found on Fiverr, I liked whatever he did with, especially your guitar effects for the outro. Sounded really nice and had that ambience effect going.
Correct. And what I think, so when we talk about what Dan did as well, right? There are two things for me that stand out for his work, and he has full credit for this, because we never gave him the reference to do it. He just ended up having to do it. He just did it via his musicality. One was right at the end, that delay he put, that ping pong delay which he put. I don't know if it's ping pong, actually, might be wrong. Which he put there, it's like shivering between 2-3 notes. And the second thing which I love is he brought a very, very beach breezy effect to the percussion, and hence the entire song, which we never asked him to do, but he just ended up doing it, especially with that cowbell in the middle.
His work was really good on the song. It really makes the song shine.
Correct. And yeah, huge shout out to Dan. It's been a while since Dan and we spoke. Sorry, Dan, but we will get to you soon. But great stuff. So when we talk about also one more thing that is there in the song, which is which we talk about, is what the song is about. When people say, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
And the thing is, we never really, there is no actual specific theme to this song. It is in general about the deadly sins that exist. So it isn't really, and it could be anything, right? There are tons of deadly sins, and it's just about how you're tempted into doing the wrong thing. But it ends with that. It is about the deadly sins themselves talking to you and trying to tempt you into indulging in one of them. So it could be anything that you're doing, right? That what do you call, could fall in those deadly sins, and it really depends on you. We didn't want to make the song about only one person or about one kind of people.
Specific. We wanted it to be more of a general theme.
Correct. Exactly.
That's why I think nowhere in the lyrics we mention a particular deadly sin we were referring to.
Correct.
So the first verse also goes like, there's a reason why they are forbidden. It doesn't go into specifics. It's just a generalized thing.
Correct. It's just the deadly sins. It's almost like if you were to have a victory song for a team, right? A team would sing their victory song or their team song. It is like the deadly sins singing their team song. This is what we do. And that was the concept behind it. We thought it would be quirky and different, but at the same time, weirdly enough, it just came to us. We were writing about it, and then when we read what we had written, we realized the direction in which we had taken it, subconsciously taken it.
Yeah.
And of course, made sure that there were elements where we made sure it's not suggestive of any one of the deadly sins. There are seven deadly sins, huh? Or nine
Yeah, I
deadly
think
sins.
that.
Seven, right? So it could be any one of them, and that is why we ensured the song was uh, from a perspective of someone what do you call who would wear that cloak of a deadly sin. So that's why the pre-chorus I say you can't stop thinking about us. Welcome to the power of lust. But I'm not only talking about lust, the deadly sin.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
I'm talking about
more
all of
like
them.
all the sins, right? Not just love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like a marketing song for the deadly sins. It's like, this is why you need us. Because the first line of the chorus is, you can't resist what you desire, or you can't resist what takes you higher. It's like your heart inside is burning. That's why we're called the deadly sins. Right? And it's structured in a way that almost justifies the existence of the deadly sins and why you need us. It's the perfect marketing ad for a deadly sin.
Yeah. It's like an anti-hero theme. Almost
Exactly.
like that, yeah.
And and one of the other things is, and we touched base about a little earlier, we didn't so after the second chorus, we did not want to come back to the chorus for this song. We felt that let it stay just as is, because we had nothing more to convey.
Section is what really like inspired us more than having another chorus at the end. We thought we should finish off with that.
Correct. There's nothing more to convey.
And listening to the song over the past 12, 13 months it's been out, I think we made the right decision not having another chorus at the end.
Correct. Yeah.
The way it ends is just perfect. I wouldn't change it.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this was one of those things where we were a little nervous, right? Because it's the first time we've ever ended a song with just the second chorus and an outro. And I remember us talking about it several times. Should we not? But then we couldn't ever justify adding anything else to it because we felt the song is complete with this.
Yeah. The reason that it works also, I think, is because of the percussion in the outro. That's also the variations in that also. It adds a lot to the song. Otherwise, it might feel a little repetitive and stale, probably.
Correct. Yeah.
Especially the hi-hat variations, right? Which really increase the energy towards the end.
Correct. Which brings us to one of the interesting aspects of recording, which were all the sounds that we were making in the song. And the stories, we have to talk about that.
That's all you, man. All the backing vocals, right? The woo, the yeah.
So you know what? I think I was telling you as well. I remember when we were discussing it, right? It came in because I think I was jamming to the track, like just generally vocal jamming to the track, right? So if you have a song that's going on, you would either harmonize with it, or you would, do like a repeat or something like that. So it was just I was just playing with the track, and I was just listening to it, and I was going with it just to primarily see if there was anything that we could do different. But I started jamming with it, and when I started jamming with it, I found myself automatically making those kind of backing track kind of noises, background noises. And I remember at home when I was practicing. I mean, it barely is practicing, but just to get the timing of it right. So it just so automatically came to me, like when you were playing the groove, right? When I was hearing the groove, like right? It automatically came that woo, yeah. It just comes in. And if you're listening to a lot of the pop music of any era, or new age also. It's just there. And I remember the first time I recorded it at your place.
For this particular song, right? If you're wearing your headphones and making all these sounds, I was wondering what what people at home were thinking. In the middle of
Yeah,
the night, you just then yes, asking questions from them.
I know, it was. And I also think initially when I was doing that woo that part, right, I actually had dogs on the road barking back at me because I practiced it sometime in the morning when everything was quiet, and I was just going with the track, and I was like woo, and I hear dogs barking back. I was like, okay, are they fighting or are they responding to me? And then I realized they were getting irritated with me. So it was fun. And I remember when we made the demo at your place, I think we troubled your folks, where I think, if I'm not mistaken, we were trying to finish the entire demo by before I'd left from your place. And I think it was around 11:30 in the night, and both of us were so tired, we were tired high, right? Where you're not under influence, but you're so tired that, and you're so satisfied with work because you got as much as you got done that you're in a different state.
We had a weird creative face that day.
And I think we tried horse noises and all sorts of animal noises on the chorus. And unfortunately, I think that was too much for your folks at home, who honestly thought we were drunk out of our minds. And anyone would have. Had someone done that in my house, I would have just known, okay, this person's bonkers.
Yeah, that was fun. And now that you mentioned these sounds, right? It also gives a certain feel to the song. Like, though we're talking about the negatives, so we're not really talking about it in a very negative way. It's
Yeah.
more like it's very tempting, and people really want to get into it. That's why lusting for the deadly sins is also mentioned in the song, right?
Yeah. So I'll be very honest. I was thinking of dark chocolate. Um, that's my dark chocolate and coffee are, I will admit, my biggest weaknesses till date. And that too, as soon as I enter the kitchen, I see coffee powder there, and I'm like, okay, I have to have. How can I just leave it there? And that really made me connect with the track. These two things, and Govind can attest to my love for what do you call black coffee, because I remember I used to go to his place at 2:30 in the morning after work, and I'd be like, "Gee, please, at least little bit of black coffee," and he'd be like, "No, it is 2:30 in the morning. Have green tea if you want, not black coffee."
Yeah, it's been quite a while since we sat together and worked on songs. It's all been virtual.
Yeah, I know. I really miss it. We should get back to it. It's something I hate doing it on the phone. It's or on calls. I mean, yeah, it's great we can connect, but the whole joy of
Nothing like actually meeting and working on things.
And like you said, it's 80% of all the nonsense that's more fun, and 20% of the work that we do.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that all the nonsense that goes around our entire working process is actually part of our working process, because that gives us inspiration.
Correct. And moreover, it also gives us the chance to. I mean, so when you're on your own and you're listening to a track, I think you tend to over-index on the song. You need the break in between to, take that cut off. And when you're working in person with someone, you anyway end up taking that break because you talk about other things, and then finally you come back to this track, and it gives you that. It shows you what you were perhaps missing.
Yeah, and also, like, making music is supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be too serious.
Correct. Yeah, it's, and I think we've spoken about this before, right? It's very important to let your personality talk in your music, and not just keep it to what you want to accomplish. Yes, you have to have a goal, but you should let your personality talk. And if you don't, it does not sound and connect. And I think that was a major flaw with what we were trying to do before.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more fun. I mean, we've known each other for what, 9 years now. They're separate. I think. Don't I might. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. I think towards the end of especially the first album, when we were spending so much time together and recording the songs, making the demos, making the rough mix, we used to end up being like twins where we would say the same things at the same point of time. It would end up completing each other's sentences, and it got to that point.
Yeah. Good times for sure. Like, nothing
Yeah,
like from a song.
correct. And I think every time we discovered something new, we were like, "Hey, let's put this on record. Let's quickly capture this. Make sure we have something. Whether someone hummed a tune or someone came up with even a small, variation of something, and we felt like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's put it on track."
And then I would try to maybe put some beats over it or something. You would try to sing over it home, and then we'll meet up and work. Yeah, entire process was real fun.
Correct. And the fun thing is when we're creating a song,
do so much for the second set.
Yeah, true. And I think very often when we're creating a song, and this happened when we were in person, we used to start with a song somewhere, but we would end up creating another song because we discovered another tune in the middle and be like, hey, no, I think that would work somewhere else. Let's play, and we would build on that and end up creating a totally different track. And go in that.
So we'll come up with something that is too prominent and deserves a song of its own, rather than being part of the song.
Correct. And that's the important change that we made this time, right? That we will not make our music sectionized in the sense of just putting sections together. We will make it a story on its own. And if we discover something that is too predominant or is predominant in itself and deserves to be the highlight, we would pull that out and say, no, that's not going to feature here.
Yeah, we had a very metal or prog approach before we changed our sound, right? We used to have so many riffs and sections in each song.
I know. I used to give people so much of flack for not putting guitar solos in their songs. And I think all those people are waiting to see me in person so they can take a brick and smash it on my head. So then they tell me, you bloody hypocrite, you criticize us so much for not putting guitar solos. What have you done?
You're fulfilling the role of a vocalist a lot more than you were doing earlier.
That's true. And I'm happier doing this. I think, I don't know, I think there's a part of me that was trying, I don't know if I was almost trying to prove a point by doing as much as I was on the guitar, which was, and in hindsight, not technical per se, but it was trying to do a lot. And I think it took a certain amount of music maturity on my side to say, okay, you know what, I need to start doing justice to my strengths. I'm not saying I'm the greatest vocalist in the world or anything like that. I've often said that I'm average at best, but that's my strength. That is my strength compared to.
He calls himself average vocalist.
So that's. I wanted to stick to what I felt was my biggest strength. And that is why I said, okay, I'm going to pull back on one, focus on the other. And I had a lot of fun. Even with the chorus on this song, right? The way I'm able to alternate and go through the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows rather, of the track, I wouldn't have found it, or I may not have even thought of it, was I focusing so much on the guitar, because it was all about creating that wall of guitar sound, and there was a lot of focus on that.
Is while you were not playing guitar from a technical point of view, you are not focusing on the technique. You are still focusing very much on the music to make it work for the song. You're playing for the rather than for your own satisfaction of playing a fast solo or playing a complicated riff.
Correct. Yeah. And it's actually interesting you said that, right? Rather than the satisfaction of playing a complicated riff, I think that's that's a good point that you make, because one of the things that for me I had to keep saying to myself was, stop challenging yourself to be technically sound when it comes to writing a song. Challenge yourself to be musically sound. Focus more on the music. Don't worry about how many techniques you're bringing in there. If it makes sense musically, that's what comes first.
Yeah, and the important thing is, even if you bring in techniques, right, you have to make sure it's musical and not just technical, because people don't uh, listen to your song for your techniques; they listen to your song for the music, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Which
That's
was
a
actually the which actually was something that affected me a lot. Initially, when I was playing, I was extremely technical, but the music was lacking.
correct.
Like in the last few years, I've slowly been able to like bring in my techniques and make it musical. So that's where I really progressed also as a bass player.
Yeah. Yeah. Though on those notes, right? I have to also say that while the number of variations and notes definitely have changed, for me, I still feel what you do with the bass is not as easy as what a lot of people might think it is. When they see the techniques broken down and realize what you're doing with it, um, and I know I'm kind of patting ourselves on the back here a bit, but I'm more coming from the point where there
I
is
would
quite a
agree.
bit of technique involved.
The way we are writing the songs, right? We don't want the technique to be a focus. Even if there is a lot of technique involved, it's often not really noticed. But when it's not played, you will notice something is missing. So
Yeah,
that is the approach we take.
correct. And that's one of the features of old pop music, where it's more remembered for um, the way it's sung. But for me, what I enjoy about old school pop are the bass lines, and we've often spoken about this, right?
Yeah.
Where uh, you would, unless you really look for it, you will never realize what the bass guitar is playing. And I love that kind of bass playing where it is subtle enough not to what do you call, take center stage and upset the vocals and upset the general rhythm of the song. But when you actually listen for it, you will realize that hey, this it's not straightforward bass.
Yeah, and
It's
more importantly,
actually
when you try to learn it, right, you'll understand why is this so difficult. It sounds so simple
correct.
on the song.
Correct, exactly. And then you're like, oh wow, okay, so he's done this. Okay, so the bass player has gone about doing that. Oh, okay, now they've changed this, and that's something I
In
enjoy about that.
really about serving the song, because if you want to write music that can connect to people, you are you're not doing the right thing if you are like focusing on the technique. But
Correct,
you could do that also, maybe as a solo project or something. But
correct,
if playing in a band, it has to always be for the music.
correct. Yep. And preserving what you want to accomplish in general as a track, right? Not get lost in the virtuoso aspect of things.
Yeah, it's always serving the song. That's the most important thing. I've heard so many of the professional bass players whom I follow, like people who have inspired me. They've all focused on playing the right thing rather than being flashy.
Mm.
Because the flash is for musicians, music is for everyone, right?
Oh wow, wow!
Yeah, yeah.
Govind,
I,
Govind in the morning is coming up with some serious gyan.
yeah,
Next show, I'm going to give you 10 minutes, man, and I'm going to go to the audience and listen to you. uh, nice, nice. I mean, it's you kind of hit the nail on the head on that. That's I think a lesson, especially for a lot of budding talent, right? It's hard to accept and understand because I remember when someone used to tell me, "Hey, why are you playing this? Doesn't make sense." Even when someone used to tell me, "Why do you have distortion on your track?" I almost took it as an offense. Like, of course I'm going to have distortion. I'm a rock star. I'm going to have distortion. Who are you to tell me anything?
yeah.
Uh,
Right?
exactly, and uh, it was like, how can you tell me not to play a solo? How can you tell me not to do this? And I used to get so defensive about things without really accepting that, you know what, just take a step back, put yourself in the shoes of the audience and listen to what you're playing, right? While it may not be complete garbage, is it really the best thing that you could have executed or what you're trying to do? And when you go back, and I think a lot of times it's very difficult to go back and accept your ego is always going to get in the way, especially mine did, heavily got in the way. And it took me a while to like really say, you know what, uh, the song and music always comes first and always wins. It's not about what you think you're going to do with the song. And like you said, serve the song. Don't serve your own, you know, egoistic interests. And I'll be the first to admit that it's also an influence, right? Like I'm influenced heavily by Slash, and I was seeing myself as a rock star on stage, but my voice does not suit that of a rock star or a rock and roll star, right? I can try.
Yeah.
I don't even write music that's proper rock music. I don't think it works that great. So that's an acceptance that I had to give. And I don't know, maybe after maybe thinking about it, I might find some small space in the rock world that makes sense to me. But with this dynamic, with what we have, it is not me doing justice to the sound that we have.
Yeah. And of course, when you speak about rock in general and what you feel about it, it's how you feel as a performer rather than a listener. We of course listen to all kinds of music here.
Correct. And it's very for all those who play the guitar and sing on stage. I tell you this: if you're someone that loves to sing and loves music in general, and loves if you're predominantly a singer, there is no, if you're used to playing with the guitar on stage, like singing and playing on stage, and there's a day that you put the guitar aside, I can attest to this. There is no greater liberation in the world than just singing. And I think we've had this conversation so many times. Like, go and let's just get it. Let's just ask someone else to play the songs. I just want to go out there and sing. But of course, we have to, manage that amongst ourselves. But just letting you know that it's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, especially because there are other instrumentalists there. If you're the lead vocalist, like you have to drive the song from a vocal point of view. Performing
Correct.
double duty, yeah, many people manage it, but
yeah, you can do
it to support them.
Correct. You can do it. It's definitely doable, but it's definitely a liberating feeling when you only have vocal duties. The amount of energy you bring, and I mean, just the feel, it's almost like there's a weight off your shoulders, quite literally. I don't know why I felt.
Easier to perform also. You can conserve your energy and play longer shows also. You're just doing vocals rather than singing and playing.
Yeah, which is kind of why I admire. So one of the people I look up to a lot is Chad Kroeger, and he for me is one of the, if not the greatest, at least modern wise, is probably the greatest for me at least. I idolize him with his ability to deliver to a big crowd. With the guitar, he's always playing guitar. Sometimes doubles up on piano. Is flipping between different tunings and is always on point. And just the energy he brings, he's often hitting that note, and very often almost not just sounds like the record, but he sounds better than the record. Like the band is able to bring a better sound, which is so rare for a rock band. And not trying to pop. I don't know if there's a word called Popeyes, but not basically trying to make it pop or make it too heavy or anything. Just bringing that sound. And because of what all we just spoke about, right? The challenge of playing the instrument and singing. He's someone I really look up to because he does it effortlessly. Like it is just done.
Like another artist who comes to mind is obviously Miles. Miles from Alter Bridge. He's also on another level. Some of the things that he plays and sings at the same time, it's just hard to imagine how he does that.
Yep. It's unbelievable. takes a lot of energy, and people actually undervalue or underestimate the physical aspect of performing. Um, the amount it first of all it stresses your body out. I mean, you enjoy it, but after that only you realize the amount of stress your body's just been through, because once the
Yeah.
nostalgia of performance is done, you come back to reality.
Like complete dose of adrenaline pumping for like an hour or so.
Correct. And it emphasizes why you should be physically functionally fit, right? Where people, I mean, it's not about the way you look, it is, are you functionally fit? Can you go through 1.5 hours of, like you said, adrenaline rush, and you have to be there for the crowd, right? You have to have energy for those people that you're performing for. You can't, it's not like a jam room. And yeah, it emphasizes that a lot. I remember we used to talk about, I mean, there are so many examples of people warming up. We used to do our rituals and warm-ups before the shows. And if I'm not mistaken, once you went on a jumping jack spree in the hotel room to warm up because the AC was freezing. We literally froze in there.
Yeah.
And, I look at you, you're doing jumping jacks, and I realize first I look at you and you're doing jumping jacks. And I'm like, why is he doing jumping jacks? And I'm like, Govind, you shouldn't have had so much of coffee. Look what's happening. You're on a coffee run. And then I realize, okay, I think I need to do jumping jacks because I'm stiff. My hands are frozen. I can't play anything. And I end up going to the hall and doing some jumping.
The blood because it was really cold in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and that's now that you mentioned that, right? The aspect of performance. So another thing that many musicians find difficult when it comes to performance is controlling the adrenaline as well, right? Because they'll really start feeling the song and they start playing at a higher tempo, and the song will
correct.
start at 100 BPM and end at 150 BPM.
Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of had those, but I have to say, when we were, I think with our last few shows, we had a drummer who I think was playing to a metronome. So we had that. That's such an essential thing, right? Playing to a metronome live and still giving that energy and feeling it. I had a lot of respect for Praveer for doing that. Very difficult to execute.
Yeah, and also it's very important because people come to listen to the song when the tempo varies so much.
Correct.
It's not a good experience for the listener. At least when I go to a show, I don't like to see that happen.
Correct. Yeah. And sometimes you can tell that, I mean, it's normal for the song to gradually build up and end up about 5-10 BPM faster if the drummer is not playing to a metronome. And you can't tell the difference if it's gradual. It will happen. But if it's like a 30 BPM increase, then everyone's going to notice and be like, hey, wasn't this a somber track? Why are you guys jumping?
Yeah, that's a very important point, because when musical sections are written to a certain tempo because of the way it works in the tempo. Like even if you take Wild Things Federation songs, if you increase the tempo, the groove changes. The groove might even go away completely.
Yeah.
You might not really feel the groove because it's too slow.
Correct.
Right? It has to be at a certain tempo.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and that's also something that took a toll on me as a vocalist, right? I think in general the tempo of our songs were a good 5-10 BPM faster than they should have been before, even though we
like 30 BPM, I would say.
Correct. So I was virtually rapping and not really I couldn't bring any vocal element to it, not realizing I couldn't bring any vocal element to it. I thought, hey, I'm doing what I need to do for the song, and vocals sound good, but when we slowed the songs down and started breaking the stuff down, we realized, okay, there's a lot of room.
It created some space which allowed for the grooves and melodies to like sit in well. If it is too fast, right? The groove element is getting lost. The notes are not clear. Like you won't have the chance to sustain also.
Correct.
You'll just be playing like really fast legato.
Correct. Interesting you mentioned that, because I barely sustained vocals before with our previous song. There was hardly any sustaining going on.
Even instruments, right? The sustains, and if the tempo is high, you'll have no time to sustain. You have to go to the next note.
Correct. I know. I never forget how people used to react to our song structures. Uh, I mean, especially when we changed drummers in the middle. And I remember poor Prabir looking at the songs and looking at the structure and going, I get the song. I just don't get why we have so many sections in the song. And we would explain it, and he's like, yeah, I get it. I get why you're doing it. I just don't get it. Why do we need to do it?
Yeah, there were so many sections. We had to play so many beats for each song, right? Just like
Correct.
we had to play many riffs for each song, we had to play many beats for each song.
Correct. Correct. And that's something I think we took a conscious call and saying, okay, that's not happening when we change the sound. We're going to make it all about that one tune. And it's all, I mean, it's influenced by our previous influences as well, right? Centered around one theme.
Yeah, and I really think that Deadly Sins as a song, it really shows the direction the band has taken.
Yeah.
While Meant to Be was the first track, this really shows where we are going.
Correct. Got it. So I
Yeah,
guess
we have an announcement on
yeah, this is
Wednesday.
gonna
We
come to
have
that.
another song. You
Go
want to
for it.
talk
Go
about
for
the
it.
when we release?
So this is, I think, a song where everyone will only recognize the name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They
And
might
will be
recognize groove, maybe. No, it was a hard rock song, right? When you played, no, they won't recognize the groove.
yeah, only the name. When you see the name of the song, if you followed the band before, you might be like, "Oh, okay, we know this." Uh, I would encourage you to listen to the song because you may not know it. And
Yeah.
but the song is the one and only "Hangover Babe," which is a song that we played right from day one. It was part of our first release, not release, but our first set of songs that we made. Um, I think we
Made night,
debuted.
made
Sorry?
it night, so man.
Yeah. I think we debuted the song at, I think it was an Anna University competition that we debuted the song, if I'm
One
not
of the,
mistaken.
I don't know exactly which one. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time we played that, and yes, it's gone through a transition after transition, a transition after transition. But the song is "Hangover Babe." I know there's a lot of you that will recognize the name, will be expecting or slash predicting certain things about the song. Uh, we don't want to
Yeah.
spoil too much of the surprise.
I'm guessing.
Yes, it's a very critically acclaimed chorus. And I say critically acclaimed not because of the fact that I'm patting myself on the back, but because of the kind of feedback I used to get, where there were people that told me, "Can you please just tell us when that song's coming? Because the second you start singing that chorus, I want to close my ears because I can't get that. It's very annoying to get out of their head because of the way you're singing it."
Like a bug, like a like a tone bug, which is gets stuck to your ear. Like one of those
Yeah,
pop songs which you can't get out for a couple of days. You get that
correct.
kind of a feeling.
Well, but yeah, it was. I mean, like I said, we don't want to spoil too much of the surprise, but this is the song that we're getting out, and please listen to it. It's going to be out very, very soon.
Yep.
We do appreciate all the support we've gotten over the past couple of weeks. We love the feedback that we've got. We've got a lot of constructive feedback as well, which is going to help us learn from what we've done and evolve our sound, do things better. But please go ahead, listen to the track, follow our page. We'll be sharing all the links again so you can keep supporting us. Can't wait to play live.
Yes, same here. Also, I would like to say that you can listen to our album and also the new songs which will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Even this session will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you missed a part of it, you can catch it later. You can also listen to our previous 2 sessions covering various topics.
Yep. Cool. So Hangover Babe comes out. Tell us what you think. Listen to it. Show it to your friends.
Be the same song, but sound like our current sound.
Yeah, it's about the same thing.
Yeah,
it's about the same thing. That I can assure you. But yeah, let's see you again next week. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and share this with your friends. Put it out in different cities. Gives us a better way to be able to reach out to you, reach out to them. Hopefully, get to play shows there as well. We love playing for people. It's been so long, but the energy of a crowd. We don't care how many people it is, but the energy of any crowd is an unbelievable feeling, and we really enjoy that.
Nothing like playing a show.
Yeah. Okay, take care, everyone. Great session, and yeah, we'll catch you soon.
See you guys later. Bye, Abhi.
Bye, sir.